Yeah, excellent. So we established if they have the head control, I do want to get that hip frame in first, and the best way I'm going to do that is the swooping. Um, and once I get that hip frame in, I screwdriver my hips to get that, kind of wedge that knee in the pocket. And once I have my knee and my elbow connected, I can use this. All of this is taking advantage of the fact that basically, because of his positioning is sort of down onto my sternum, that means that his hips are going to be kind of heavy. That means that I'm going to have something to press against, right? That wedge, kind of slide through, whether it be the hip against, the elbow against the hip, or the knee against the hip. However, what if the situation I'm in is not this? What if the situation I'm in is that this person has head control and the underhook, and their weight is not kind of down on my chest, but quite often you'll find someone that'll put all of their weight on your face, and they're way up high. So say if you tell he's up here, and go ahead, like way up on my head. Right, exactly. And then you can connect your hands if you want, and just go ahead, all your weight up on the head.
My knees are good.
Whatever you want. It really doesn't matter. Honestly, just to kind of make it handle. Don't stay on your knees, but just kind of get your weight tilted in my face. Right. Well, now I have a bit of a problem because I might be able to get this hip frame in the way. So let's say I get it, we'll just kind of get in there. But as long as his weight's going to my head, the recovery of the knee is a lot harder. And if he keeps circling in my head as I try to shrimp and get in there, I'll never get in there. Right? You guys see what I'm talking about? You ever been in this situation? You're smashing your face, I can't. Okay. So let me get you off in just a moment. Here's the thing about this, right? What did I say? Lesson 1. What's the first principle of taking advantage of what is the main weakness of being essentially having pressure putting down on somebody, right? Pressure is not omnidirectional. You can either be heavy in one, you can really only be heavy in one place or the other. You could be heavy down, you could be heavy towards the face, like to the sides, or you could be heavy forward or back. There's 4 directions and kind of, I guess, some diagonals. Like that SNES controller, right? Those little diagonal, right? That was the one, right? Yeah, I don't know what those were for. It's like none of those games used that. Everything was down, left, this.
Yeah.
Forward, back, this.
Until 64.
Right. And then by then they had the analogs. What's the function? Anyway, I'm a big believer of a D-pad that has dedicated buttons, not this weird joystick thing. What the fuck is that? Anyway, not important. I've played a video game like 20 years and I have an opinion. Like, the fuck? Right? But anyway. Right, exactly. I'm like, listen, Mario was the bomb, dog. Do not tell me. Anyway, like, shut up, old man. And I'm like, right. Well, anyway, so pressure is not omnidirectional. If his pressure is going on my face, if I'm in side control and his pressure is going on my face, what direction is this pressure going? Is it going forward, backward, side, or down? I would say side, right? To put pressure on my face, his pressure is going to the side. So, here's the thing about this. In order for Tony to smash my face the way he was smashing it, can I get you down? I'll be the guy doing the swishy smashing. In order for me to smash Tony's face in such a way that my weight is distributed to where he cannot wedge that knee inside, right? I have to have 2 things happening. One is I have to control his head, and 2 is my weight has to be kind of going to the side. So now if you try to, even if you get that right hip in, or right elbow in, it's like if you try to wedge that knee in, it's kind of like really difficult to get it in there, right? Yeah. Right. So guys, if I told you, for the sake of argument, without any context, here's the situation. Do me a favor, just like cross your arms. Actually, you don't put them here. If I told you, guys, here's my position. I'm going to go here. I'm going to take away my post. And I'm going to put all my weight in this direction. What would you tell Tony to do to me?
Push you
Push
towards
me
his head.
Right. Because as long as they're heavy on your face, that means their weight's going this way. What did we say in the beginning? Reguarding favors a sort of a counter pressure. It favors a resistance that goes against the thing you're pushing against them. I want to wedge my knee against resistance. Re-rolling favors a cooperative pressure. He's already going in that direction. I'm just going to give him a little. There's a couple different ways I can do this. Let's see, how should I do this? I'll show, I don't want to get too deep in the weeds on this, so I'll show the easiest one. I'll start with the easiest one, my favorite one. This is Noel's favorite too. Noel does this all the time. It's delightful to watch Noel do this to people because it's like stupid effective. So he's smashing my face. I can't reguard, right? I might even not be able to get this frame in. What I'm gonna do, actually, let me get you off me so I can show this movement invisible opponent, and then I'll end with you. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my elbow over my shoulder to the floor, and I'm gonna look at the mat. Right? My objective, let me get you down and be super loose. My objective is to take this elbow, imagine it's around my head, and rotate it this way. Because if I rotate his elbow to the floor, he will roll. Right? You guys see that? By just putting that pressure. So, I get him. He's smashing. It might be nice and heavy. And I'm going to take my elbow to the floor and rotate his. I take him up. You all right? Yeah. I take him up. Very simple movement. So that's number one. That's the easiest one. Let me get you one more time. We'll do it like that. We're here, right? What I'm looking for is as I can also, like, if I can get this frame in front of his face, I can push his face, and I turn, and I kind of just take his elbow to the mat, and I roll him over, right? You'd be surprised how often this works. Alternatively, if he's going way heavy in this direction, right, one of the things that I like to do is basically try to make his forehead hit the floor and then just sort of roll him over my head. So what I'll do is grab a hold, and if he's way pressured trying to strip, I'm going to bridge him that way, boom, and then that way, right? Just kind of like get his weight off of me for just enough time to turn him over. And the honest truth is there's like a million different variations on this concept. You can do the belt roll. That one works. I don't really get into that too much because you give your opponent an arm triangle, but it's really telegraphed. I'll show one more variation. You just kind of play with this to your best ability. So this one, what I'm going to do is, so he's putting all this pressure this way, right? So then put the pressure is, what I want to do is get his weight just over too much that way. So I'm going to swing my feet the same direction we did to get the elbow in, but I'm going to get the elbow out. So I'm here, I go here. And once I get him on my hip, I reach with my arm to roll him over. It's a very simple movement. Say we scoot back, say down. If all Tony does, I'll be nice and heavy this time, is I'm smashing right here on his face. I want you to swing your feet like you did to get the elbow inside to the left, and then reach your right arm over my back when you're trying to give Kevin a high five. Boom. You'd be surprised how much that works. The key here is, though, let me get you back down, is that what I'm not doing as the top person is this. Because if you try to do that against this, go ahead.
No.
I'm heavy back here. But here's the thing, you start trying to regard, start trying to get that right, those hip frames, and oh no, I don't want that to happen. I'm here. Boom, I'm gone. Right? So say you're on top. I'm here. Maybe I'm swinging to get this frame in. I'm trying to regard and he goes to my head. Right? I take him up. I roll him over. It's not, I'm not going to tell you that there's not a size threshold to that. There's a certain point where you're not going to do that to shame, you know? But you'll be surprised. You can move some pretty big dudes. Yeah, that's true. Oh, man. So, you want to see those? No. All right, so one more. I'm going to do each one of those one more time. And just choose which ones you want to do. Let me get you side control. And I'm going to try to do this last one. What I want you to do, Tony, to protect your neck is, so for the people drilling this, make sure to look away from this escape. So don't try to look at the escape because you're going to roll over your head. Look away from the escape, right? When you do this in a live roll, when they're really heavy and putting pressure, they'll almost instinctively do this anyway. So, but it's sort of like when you're drilling something without resistance, people tend, like their instincts shut off. So in a live roll, if he's 100% trying to smash my face and I do this really hard, he's going to instinctively tuck and roll, right? So the movement here is, as he's putting this pressure, I'm chopping the elbow and pushing the face to get this elbow to the mat, and then I roll him over. So you guys see how the sort of shoulder rotated? Does that make sense? Okay, so that's one. Two is, say what you got on top. Two is, he's going to be nice and heavy on this one, is I'm going to clasp, and I'm basically just going to kind of like bridge his head to the floor and then take him over whichever direction is the easiest. This seems stupidly like unspecific, but it's like if he go to be super heavy on my face, right? Is this, I'm just like face to the floor. You just kind of take him over a side. If his weight goes to his head, then you just kind of spin with it. Does that make sense, guys? Like again, it's kind of vague.
Can you see another, one more time?
Yes. I'm here. It's not like a super specific thing. It's not do this. The only thing I need to do is make his forehead touch the ground. So I'm hugging tight, and as I go that way, and then it's like that way.
Oh, chin, boom, boom.
Right, and it could be the other way. Sometimes I take him over my belly. Sometimes I take him over the other direction. And then the last one, I'll have you do this one, Tony. Just because it's fun. Is I'm here, and this is the simplest one, but probably the one that could, like, this is like the one that's probably the least effective, but you lose the least trying it, you know? Is I'm here, I'm smashing, so he's going to swing his feet hard to the left and do a high five with his right hand. Boom. And get me over. That make sense, guys? Excellent. Partner up workout. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.